Alrighty, we are live with the Tarot Tribe. Hello, everyone. It's Thursday night, and we are back for more free tarot readings. It's great to see everyone in here. We've got 8 so far. A lot of our regulars are here. Howdy, Patty. Hello, Cool Libra. And some new folks like Christy Nees, I don't recognize. Sunrays Angela seems new, so welcome in, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I certainly have. It's been beautifully warm here in northern Colorado. But enough about me. So for the new people especially, or the returning folks, if you've forgotten how this works, we offer free mini tarot readings throughout the night. Just type reading and your topic or question in the chat. And my wonderful moderator, Candy Hearts Art, will be happy to add you to the list. And before we start with everyone's individual readings, I will offer a group reading to check in with some messages from Spirit, guidance from Spirit for us for the evening and for the rest of the week. Oh, and welcome in Kate on an alternate account. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So let's clear the air and get your reading requests in sooner than later, because we do fill up, and I generally go about 2 hours, and well, then I turn into a pumpkin. So first things first, let's clear the energy here, and then I will pull our group reading for the week. And if you'd like to support this channel and these readings, I ask that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and click the bell icon so that you do not miss any uploads or live streams. Additionally, if you would like to or able to, we do accept donations, and the link for donations is in the chat, pinned by Nightbot. All of your support is always greatly appreciated. FinTube, welcome in. Okay. So first things first, let's get our group reading. I think we'll do the Crow Tarot. Oh, and just to let everyone know, the decks we have tonight are the Crow Tarot, one of my favorites. They're all my favorites, or I wouldn't use them. The classic Rider-Waite Tarot. This is a very shiny, kind of prismatic edition. And then one of the newer favorites of ours, this is the Phantasma Tarot. Quite lovely. I acquired that more recently. So let's get on to, there we go. Now we can see cards. So we'll shuffle up. Let's see if we can find some guidance from Spirit for us, for our whole collective, for the whole tribe, for the week. And I just can't say how excited I am to have all of you here tonight. This is the highlight of my week, really. So. Braveheart has a car question. Ooh, I love cars. It's the first car question we've ever had. Oh, I can't wait to do that one. In case you all don't know, I was for about 5 years of my life, I was a certified auto mechanic. Didn't exactly pan out the way I thought it would, but that was my last big career change before I started reading tarot professionally. So, welcome in, Merleeb. It's great to have you back. Okay. Alrighty, so here's some cards for us. Ooh, the Star. We haven't seen that. We have not seen much of the Star lately. I love it. 7 of Cups. Ooh, some choices. And Six of Cups, some contentment. Okay. Some very strong and clear messages here from Spirit for us. And this is for all of us to take. Whatever resonates with any of you, take it for what you wish. Leave the rest as always. So the star is this sort of orientation, this reorientation. We're getting more on course with everything that's going on in our lives. And some greater inspiration is expected to emerge. This star will appear in the dark to guide us forward to where we need to head. And as we head in that direction, we will be faced with some peril, might be a strong word, but with some decision. We're going to be faced with some distractions. So there's going to be a lot of things competing, not just for our attention, but our emotional energy. So we have to be very careful about where we place that energy, what we give attention to, what we put our effort into. We need to stay on that course, stay fixated on this star. Otherwise, we'll get distracted by all of these choices. As long as we do that, we will find a great deal of satisfaction and attainment, especially sort of emotional satisfaction, not just internally, but amongst our friends and family, lovers and coworkers, and everyone else that we know. So just be looking for that divine inspiration this week and then follow it. And just have your blinders on and just stay fixated on that point of light. Because that's where we need to be going. That's a really beautiful bit of advice for us for the week. So, okay. Well, thank you all again. We are filling up the channel. I love it. I will get everyone into the queue here. We will just take a moment to do that. So first up will be Cool Libra. Then we have Christy Knees. Then Sunrays Angela. Then Braveheart and Scar Question. Okay, let's see. Come on, computer. And last up, Flower Child. Welcome in, Speak Knowledge. Good to have you in here. Okay. And as I said a few minutes ago, don't be shy. Don't hesitate to get your questions in. The queue can fill up very quickly. And often people come in late in the night and we can't always get to them. And I always feel bad. But I am a human being. I have limits. So, okay. Now we have Merlib for the last question. Okay. Speak Knowledge is getting their question in. All right. Well, we'll get going. And then I will update the list again. But so far, so good. Okay. I think we'll just stick with the Crow Tarot for right now. I'm feeling the Crow deck. Candy and I were out walking the dog earlier, just before the live stream, after I got home from my day job, and there was this eagle. And we see a lot of eagles out here and other birds of prey, but he was flying around real close, swooping around. So I just feel I don't have an eagle or like bird of prey deck, although maybe I should get one. But I think the Crow deck will do. So definitely feeling that sort of expansive, soaring energy of flight. Welcome in, Kim. Reclaim with Kim. Okay, one more shuffle. Okay, Cool Libra would like a general reading. Alrighty. Ooh, the Magician. Definitely a shift in energies this week. We got the World. We saw the World last week. And 3 of Coins. I love this. I really like this. So, there's just a lot of powerful creative force for you, Cool Libra. And this applies to everything that you're doing with your life right now. So, it's not just your career or a course of study, it's not just relationships or your physical health, it's all the things. These are big evolutionary steps in your growth as a human being in this lifetime. That's what the major arcana are always about. The major arcana are the named cards, like the Magician, the World, Death, the Tower, as opposed to suited cards like this 3 of Coins or Pentacles. So for you, this is some powerful, powerful encouragement from the universe. One, to tell you that you are the creator of your reality. You have the ability to mold reality as you see fit to what you want and desire and need in life. And maybe you've been struggling with feeling like you have that power lately. And so the World here is the universe card, the World card is like 10x the Magician, basically. It reminds us that you are the creator of your reality, but it is the force, the creative force of the universe that is flowing through you that allows you to create. You have to allow that energy to flow. We don't create successfully and transform things successfully by forcing them. We have to have this understanding. It is really co-creation in a lot of ways. And so you've maybe had some frustration. You need to relax a little bit. Don't worry as much about exactly how everything will pan out. Things may not happen the way you expect them to, but they will happen for you. And the things you want will happen. The world is going to make sure that that happens for you. And so a little bit of advice here with that is, again, maybe take a step back. If you're feeling frustrated, just let go of all that. Whatever it is you're trying to really make happen, just let it go for a little while, a few hours a day, a couple days. Give it a rest. If it's a project you're working on and you're stuck, set it aside. But whatever it is, if it's someone that you're trying to pursue, maybe give it a rest. Maybe don't text them for a day or two. Whatever it is, take some time and just spend some time with friends, family, casual time. You don't have to go seeking advice necessarily from others, but just some casual interactions will probably help you find the inspiration that you need to get these things flowing again, instead of trying to be so forceful with what you're doing in the world. And so that is your wisdom from Spirit for the week. I hope that guides you well. And thank you for your question. Yeah, we are moving very quickly tonight. And my wonderful moderator, Candy Hearts Art, is doing a great job. And in case you don't know or you haven't heard, not only is she my moderator, but she is my wife and my best friend. And around here, I like to call her my Wiffle Biffle. That's just our fun name for each other. So, and sometimes she calls me Wiffle Biffle, and that's kind of fun because then I get to be the wife. So, let's get our list updated real quick. We have a few more after Merleave. We have Speak Knowledge so far. After Merleave, so we'll get you in there. Get this up to date. So up next, we have Christine's. A general reading about employment and finances, of course. Welcome in, Melons. It's great to see all the regulars here, the tribe. Okay, Christine, what is going on with your employment and finances? I get so excited I forget to do my deep breathing. Ah, the Hanged Man. And the Hermit. All the major cards. And the Ace of Wands. Well, okay. So the short story to your topic in question is this. Ace of Wands tells me right away, you're going to come out of the next period of time. Can't say exactly how soon. Might be the next few weeks, might be a couple months, somewhere in that time frame, maybe even a wee bit longer. But Ace of Wands is always like new opportunities in career, in jobs, in other important, meaningful endeavors in your life. So some new opportunity is going to come to you. But there's some things that will happen first. So you're going to go through some challenges, some discomfort here. Hangman and Hermit, very similarly themed cards. So you might be already experiencing this, or it'll be coming to you soon. There will be some ups and downs, some discomfort, some frustration. The Hangman is here to remind you, is a card of growth through discomfort. And so it's here to tell us, or tell you in this case, that you shouldn't run away from that discomfort, that frustration. I wouldn't say outright anger, but some sense of like things could be better, things aren't exactly the way you wanted them to be. And maybe you don't really know exactly how to change that, but take a breath and relax and just sort of do what you can to just be with that discomfort, work through it. You do have to allow yourself to feel it a bit. Don't run away from it. Don't just mask it. Out of that will come inspiration and enlightenment. And that's what the Hermit is here to tell us, is that if you work through the discomfort, you work through this uncomfortable feeling, this moment, you will attain this sort of enlightenment, and you'll have a less of an emotional attachment to your job and career. That's not to say they aren't important, but we get so often, so much of our identity gets wrapped up in our career, in our job. And it's just really a fraction of who we are. Like, yes, we all have to survive. We have to make a living, support ourselves. Totally get it. But you are so much more than that. And so the Hermit is this sort of, it's a broader view. The Hermit is up in the clouds, looking down, shining his light of his enlightenment down into the world to illuminate the world below. So you're going to get into a much better place with your job, with just how you view work and career, which is great because that clarity is what's going to lead you to that new opportunity. So just be prepared for that. Don't run away from it. Lean into it. I know it's not the most fun thing to hear, but it's really how we grow, And if you need support with that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or if you have other good people, supportive people in your life, certainly reach out to them as well. So thank you for that, Christy. It was a great question. Next up, we'll have Sunrays Angela, and we've got some more folks to add on here. Maloney's got her question in. Kate. We've got you in the list. Alrighty, we are just cracking along tonight. I love it. Welcome in Slow Deezy. Welcome in Kim Case. It's great to have all of you here tonight. A lot of new faces. I love it. And just to remind all of you, you can support the channel and these readings by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and clicking the bell icon so that you don't miss further uploads and live streams. And I do also accept donations, although they're not required, but greatly appreciated. And the donation link is pinned in a comment here in the chat, and also being constantly spammed out by the Nightbot. So anything you can do to help and support is so greatly appreciated by myself and Candy and the rest of the Tarot tribe. And I would also remind everyone, especially folks who are just coming in, new folks, do not be shy about your questions and topics. We get filled up and we do hit a limit in terms of free readings every night. And so I'd hate for you to get left out because you were maybe just apprehensive about asking your question. So as soon as you feel ready or inspired, and if you don't have a question or topic, totally okay too. Just type exclamation reading in the chat and your topic or question, or just write general if you want a general reading. Okay, one more shuffle for Sunrays Angela. I should probably look at your actual question. Angela, okay, will I be asked out on a date? Well, all right, the first love reading of the night. We love it. Okay, will you be asked out on a date, Angela? Will you be asked out on a date? Well, 7 of Wands, very interesting. Temperance, oh my. And the Hierophant. Well, wow, all the big major cards tonight. These big major things. So over the next while, this feels like a couple of months, maybe. 7 of Wands is really interesting here in the context of your question. A lot of times 7 of Wands is like the universe sort of putting the brakes on, being like, hey, hold up, you're going to go off the cliff. But what this looks like to me in terms of like, will you be asked out on a date? I sense that you're going to be asked out by a few different people. And you might run into a space where you've got multiple people sort of pursuing you, maybe almost at the same time. So that's very exciting. A lot of attention will be on you. And that's going to bring about some interesting sort of questions in your life and a little bit of some conflict, because you may be in a position where you may have to make some choices about who you should go out with. And so as you're faced with these choices, this is going to transform quite a bit how you look at relationships and how you see your own worth as a person, how you attract people, and also, more importantly, a deeper understanding of what you really need and want from a partner. So you may end up going on a date, 1 date or 2 dates with a few of these people, and you're going to kind of see like, okay, that didn't work out. I didn't like this person for this reason or whatever. I think it's just going to really force you to get right with yourself about what it is you really want and need and desire from people. And ultimately, I think the person that kind of wins out is someone who's going to be, they're going to have a bit of a spiritual energy about them. Now, they might not be like super into all the new age stuff. They might not be like reading tarot and wearing crystals and all that, but there'll be like this sense of like confidence, but it's a calm and almost quiet confidence. It's not that kind of confidence that people project when they're like trying to be confident or trying to influence others. Like they're trying too hard. Like, hey, hello, what's up? It's a quiet sort of strength and calm. And that comes from a connection to spirit. And you're really going to feel that. So that's the person who's going to win out amongst these sort of multiple suitors. So that's really exciting and like just such a fun and exciting thing for you. But again, there's some really important lessons about yourself that you will learn in all of this. So I hope that clicks with you, and I hope it's a really exciting sort of summer of love for you, Angela. And we will move on. Again, thanks for your question. Oh, let's see. Let's update the list. We'll get Slow Deezy on the list. And Panya, you're in here. Don't worry. Okay. So Braveheart, you're up next, and you've got this card question. I'll tell you what I think. Um, I will pull cards. Don't worry. But I'm not sure what the Acura is, what exact model of Acura. I would get the Acura. That's a fancy Honda. I like Japanese cars, so I have a Honda. It's just a CRV, but I like it. So I'm a fan of the Acura. Not as big a fan of minivans, but I'm not a family guy. I don't have any kids to lug around, so. Well, let's see what Spirit has to say about it, because it's not fair. If I just give you my opinion, that's cheating, right? Save that. Okay. There we go. Updated. Ooh, this card wants to fly out. Let's see what that is. Yes, we have Ophelia on the list. But thank you, Panya, for keeping an eye on things. And if I ever need a backup moderator, I'll hit you up. Okay, Braveheart, what's up with this Acura, with your vehicle situation? Ooh, Ace of Pentacles. Well, you're definitely gonna get one of these vehicles. That's for sure. King of Wands. Oh, and the Lovers. Well, I don't know. What is the Lovers? This is fun. This is a really fun question. I like. I definitely we're trying to get people some really good advice, some deep introspective stuff, but something a little more casual is kind of fun sometimes. And it's a challenge for me to relate tarot to makes and models of vehicles and car repairs. So the Lovers is best of both worlds kind of thing. I'm guessing that Acura is probably a TL or something like that, probably a little sportier, sedan or coupe. I don't think the TL is a twin-seater, but anyway. So the Lovers is kind of best of both worlds. So it might not be the big old minivan, but it might not be the little, the little sports car. It might be something in between. So a smaller SUV crossover type vehicle. It's got some pep to it. But isn't super tiny and cramped. Something big enough to pal around with your lover in. I don't know. But you're definitely getting it, and it'll be a good vehicle. Whatever it is, it's going to be a good quality vehicle. You're not going to get a lemon. Whether it's new or used, I don't know, but it will be a good one. That's Ace of Pentacles, this great opportunity. And it will just sort of come to you. It'll be something that you probably haven't already looked at or thought about. Yeah, that little, kind of like my CRV. I love the CRV. Get one of those. And King of Wands, now that's kind of interesting. Something about King of Wands here. I don't know why. It's the lion. It's the lion here. To me, speaks to a domestic, a U.S. brand automotive, which is interesting because a lot of my favorite crossovers and SUVs are Japanese cars. But there are some good domestic ones too, and I feel like that's just going to be the right thing for you financially and just in terms of opportunity. So it might be a Ford or a GM, maybe a Dodge. I would go more GM, but that's me. Yeah. So keep an eye out for a mid-size or smaller crossover SUV type, domestic, U.S. model. Cool. Alrighty. And that was fun. Thank you so much for that, Braveheart. I really, that's fun to do that. Do those once in a while. Okay, I think we will just switch up decks. We're going to go to, I think we'll do Rider Waite for a while. Let's see. Keep the list rolling. Okay, so far, Panya is still the last one. Again, thank you everyone for coming in. We're about half an hour in. Okay. While we're shuffling up and while we're getting ready, and Flower Child, you are the next reading. We're going to do your reading, general reading. While I'm kind of shuffling up, I'm going to take a moment. I want to ask everybody in the chat, have you ever wanted to learn to read tarot just like I do? I know you enjoy your readings. You show up every week, and I love that. But I love to teach people to read as well. And until recently, I was teaching classes in person here in Northern Colorado. But this weekend, this Sunday, I am expanding that and bringing my class live to Zoom. So in just a 2-hour class this Sunday, you can learn a simple and easy way to read tarot effectively for yourself and others in your life, just as well as I do. And it's an $18 commitment, which is way less than I charge in person. It's a great deal. And it is running this Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Mountain or Denver time. So if any of you are interested, just speak up. I will put a link in the chat. Actually, let me get that in there right now. And because it looks like Speak Knowledge. So some of you may be interested. And if this weekend doesn't work for you, please reach out and let me know. I am going to be doing this on a regular basis, and I'll be trying out some different times of the week and times of day as well. So let me know if it's not the right time for you. And you can get all that info and register right here at this link, the jojotarot.com/learn_tarot. I would love for you to join me. I'd love for you to learn to read for yourselves. And if I put myself out of business teaching you all how to read tarot, great. You know, it's such a powerful thing. It's helped me so much in my life, and that's why I do this. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Awesome. Speak Knowledge. Thank you. Yeah, and if you can't do it this Sunday, like I said, keep in touch. I'll get you on the mailing list, and there will be other dates. So, okay. Flower Child would like your general reading. Oh, Flower Child. What does Spirit have to say to you? Knight of Cups. Ooh. Some 4 of coins here. And the Knight of Swords. Well, very exciting. So we have these knights. Some strong energy. Some strong people entering your life. So I sense there's someone in your life, a friend, may not be a romantic interest, but it could be. Maybe even a family member, someone you're close to, though. They're this type of person. They have a very sort of calm, very even sort of emotional keel. And that can be a very good thing, you know. Man, a peaceful life and a peaceful mind is so priceless. But sometimes maybe that's kind of a drag, you know. Maybe sometimes you wish this person was a little more, you know, emotionally exuberant, got a little more excited about things, showed a little more passion. And that's not to say that like your friendship or whatever your relationship with this person is going to end, but I think it's going to make you maybe seek out some new friendships or other types of relationships or something like that. You've just been spending some time with this person, and they're kind of just their presence, their energy is making you feel a bit flat. So there's a bit of a taking stock here of like, who do I know? How, you know, what am I holding on to here? Maybe a little bit of like introspection of like, why is that? You know, why don't I like this person's energy? Because they're not someone, again, who like aggravates you or like provokes you or anything like that. They're just, you know, I don't know, they just make you feel kind of dull. Again, it's not like a toxic thing. They're not a bad person. You shouldn't cut them out of your life, but think you need to find some people who bring a little more excitement into your life right now on some level. Can't say exactly what. Again, may not be like romance or anything that specific. I think it's more like friendship. And that's the Knight of Swords here. We see the Knight of Cups, and cups are about emotions and relationships. And this horse is moving. He's not stagnant, but very calm. Whereas this horse that this Knight of Swords is on, very fast. It looks like he's galloping. It might be hard to see on the camera, especially if you're watching on your phone. But yeah, this horse is definitely galloping. This Knight is charging into battle. I think you're looking for a little bit of that energy in your life, and you're going to find that through a new or maybe renewed friendship, someone you haven't spent time with recently. But I think you just need that little bit of that energetic uplift to kind of help you take stock of what you have and don't have in your life, mostly about what you have, because you're actually way more abundant than you realize. And, that's probably going to lead to some of your summer sort of excitement and fun. So, a cool reading, a great question, a great topic. So thank you, Flower Child. Thanks for coming in. India Welch, welcome in. We've got your question in the queue as well, right after Panya. Alrighty. Leo Moon is in. Welcome back, Leo Moon. Yeah, welcome in, Charger fan. Alrighty. Everyone's in here. It's so great to see all these returning faces. Oh, that's awesome. Especially on a Thursday after I get out of my day job, which has some good moments, but it can be stressful, and it's just so nice to be here with all of you. So. Merlib, or Merlib, you are up next. Okay. Merlib wants to know, what kind of full-time job will I get next? Will it be the warehouse, the office, or the work from home? Okay, we're still waiting on that job. It is coming. Okay, merely full-time job. 10 of wands. The Hierophant. There's the Hierophant again. It's 2. Okay. This is all very interesting. So, I can tell you this, your next full-time job, and it's hard to say exactly whether it's warehouse, office, or like a work-from-home job. Although an office job often can be like flex time, partially work from home, etc. Whatever job it is, I can tell you this. It's going to be something that you've had at least some experience doing already on some level. 10 of wands here is like a degree of accomplishment in career or job. So this is someone who's quite capable and skillful at this thing. So that's you. So the new full-time job is going to involve that. Again, it'll be something that you've had at least some degree of experience doing, something that you're fairly comfortable and confident with. It's going to put you in a position of a little bit more responsibility doing this thing than maybe you had in the past. With that can come greater money and compensation. So that can be a good thing if you don't get too stressed out about it, if you are up to the challenge. But I sense that you are. I'm confident you will be able to handle that responsibility, even if it seems like a greater one than you've ever had before. So it'll be a really good opportunity for you. And the fact that you already have experience and skills in this area, it's going to make it easier to get into that. So you have a background in insurance. So that would suggest a office or like hybrid work from home type job as an adjuster. But again, it's going to be like a higher level of responsibility. Maybe you'll have some leadership over a few other people, that kind of thing. It's going to require you to be a little more in tune with yourself. And that'll be the more challenging piece of it, I think. And also the reach of your job. So the Two of Wands is like this person's achieved things and is looking out into the world. So that just speaks again to like this role being kind of a bigger role than you've had in the past in this industry and in this career. So it'll be a more expansive thing, but you'll handle it beautifully. And it will be the right thing for you in this moment for this period of time in your life. You know, I don't sense on a broader sense that maybe you're meant to be an insurance adjuster or work in insurance for your entire life. I think, farther down the road, I think you have other more creative things that you need to bring out into the world. I think maybe you have some higher purpose. And that's not to knock what you do. I have a little bit of a bias because I'm someone who's worked in offices. I worked in tech and IT, and now I read tarot for a living. And for me, the idea of going back to something like that just doesn't jive with me. But that's my own personal feelings about this stuff. So it's hard for me to imagine myself working in insurance. I considered it actually at one point. And I decided it wasn't the move for me. So that's my own bias. But I think it's a good place for you to be right now. It's going to take pretty good care of you. And, there are levels to that of like helping others. So, and insurance is a place where you can get out kind of on your own and become your own agent, your own salesperson, and do it for yourself. So, you're definitely helping people, and it's a good thing. My wife, you can't hear her, but she's like, we're a bunch of artists. And yeah, we're a bunch of artists in this household. We're very bohemian kind of boho people. But, no judgments at all. If you get joy and satisfaction out of this, absolutely do it. So, great. You can kind of see it back. Right back here. That's Candy's latest painting. She just finished it up. You've seen it up there the last few weeks. It's a commission for my uncle. And she just finished it up. And if you want to see more of my wife's wonderful art, go check out her channel right here on YouTube. It is Candy Hearts Art. You can just click through her name. She has some great videos of her working on some amazing paintings and drawings and illustrations. There's also a tutorial or two in there and all kinds of fun stuff. So please go check out and subscribe to her channel as well. It's certainly different from tarot readings here, but it's great. She puts a lot of great work into her videos. So. Okay, moving on, we've got Speak Knowledge. Yep, there it is. There's the link. All right. Will my book do well? Speak Knowledge asks, will my book do well long term? And can a coaching or speaking engagement come from it? Well, Speak Knowledge, as we've said in the past, we are definitely reading the same things and following all the same stuff. We're all kind of trying to get into the coaching thing. And a book is a great, it's something I've kind of put off. They always tell people, it's common advice for people getting into life coaching or other types of coaching and that kind of service business to write a book, and share a lot of your story, because that's a lot of what sells, helps you, makes people want to work with you. I don't really like to say sales necessarily, but it is essentially sales in that sense, in like the best way. So let's see, what does Spirit have to say about your book? Well, there's a couple cards for you. Let's pull the top one. I think those are going to be your cards. So there's the High Priestess and the Chariot. Oh, all these big cards. Oh, man. And I'm curious if you finished the book already or not. You don't have to tell me that, but I'd be curious to know. That kind of helps with the reading a little bit. High Priestess here speaks to exactly what I was talking about, though, of like, it's common advice to write a book to help promote this kind of work that you want to do. Coaching services, speaking engagements, that kind of thing. Especially if you can get some traction behind that book, if you can get some good sales and boast, bestseller type status, it really helps you get these engagements that you want to get eventually. The High Priestess is here to tell you, like, this book, that you're writing, you're still fine tuning it. So great. So you haven't put it out there yet. The High Priestess is like inner knowledge, and it's the inner truth. So one thing you want to make sure, is that this book should really contain some good insights and stories about your own life and your own transformations, the things that lead you into wanting to coach others. Because ultimately, when we get into things like coaching and speaking, we're inspiring others from our own life experience. You can get a certification, you get a coaching certification, you can get a degree, business degree or whatever, and those credentials can help and they mean something, certainly. But my point is, this book really does need, you want to make sure that there are some good, powerful bits of your own experience, that you really show some honest and authentic bits of yourself in this. And so, yes, so good, you've got that, and that's important, because that's really the powerful part of the book. If it was just purely like an instructional thing, like how to change your life in 10 days or whatever, it just isn't going to inspire people in the same way. So your story is in there. And that's 90% of what this book does for you, is it gets your story out there. And that's going to give you momentum. Chariot is a card of momentum. And it's powerful. And so this is definitely going to propel what you want to do as far as life coaching, as far as speaking engagements. It's still going to start out kind of slow. I remember, and I said this in your reading, I think last week or whatever, because we were talking about this, this type of business does start out very slow, but it has a huge upside. The momentum builds, and it builds in a big way. And it can look like you speaking to huge crowds and having a huge audience, and a lot of money will come in with that. So it will happen, but it's something you have to be in it for the long haul. The Chariot, when it's at a dead stop, is heavy and it has a lot of inertia. And so it takes a lot of effort to get it moving. But once it does, that weight keeps it moving. And every bit of additional effort you add to it gets it moving faster and faster. And once it gets going and really gets going, it's unstoppable and it's powerful. So again, a big resounding yes from the universe. And the final result of all of this, and again, it's going to take time, so be perseverant, is a great deal of satisfaction. 9 of Cups. Look at all of my cups. Look at everything I've done here. I am so happy with this. And that happiness won't just purely be like, I have a lot of money. It's going to be, I've helped people, and other people are getting a lot out of this, because it's such a key part of this work. It has to come from a place of service. So just keep that in mind and just stick with it. Keep working on your book and then promote it relentlessly. Get it out there. You'll probably have bigger speaking engagements and become more famous than I will, like quicker than I will. And I hope so. I really do. No jealousy or anything like that. So that's really beautiful for you. And oh yes, and also please send me an email sometime. I'd love to have a chat about some of your ideas around coaching and stuff, and share some of mine. No charge or anything like that. It's just fun to network with people, and and do that kind of thing. So there's definitely a few of us on that path here in the chat. Also, Ophelia Goodness, my good friend Kate, she does coaching. She's actually my coach, and does all sorts of healing work and oracle work as well. So another person you might want to reach out to as well, and I can put you in touch if you'd like. So you're welcome for the reading. All right, moving on, and we're getting to Probably do 1 or 2 more and then go to break time. Yeah, we got probably. We'll do 1 more. And so Melons Maloney, you're up next. And your question is, how will management view me after my first month at my new job? Okay. All righty. Well, let's see. There you go. Okay. How will you be viewed by management after this first month? Okay. Some ambiguity there. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, though. That's great. That's interesting. So this is a very interesting answer to your question. What I sense here, overall, management is going to be quite happy with how you're doing after the first month. The sense I get is that from your experience, it may not feel that way. Some of this is your own self-doubt, so you have some doubts about yourself. And that's okay. We all do. Nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what we're here to work through. So you have some self-doubt. And I sense that your managers at this place are just maybe not the most expressive or communicative individuals. And so that's also going to contribute to this sense of like, how am I really doing? And it might get so, you know, you're sort of questioning of this, your doubt in this it could get a bit severe. You know, you might kind of have a moment, a day where like things don't go perfectly, and you go home feeling like, oh man, you know, I'm not gonna make it. You know, I don't think I got it. I think I upset the bosses or I did something really wrong. Doesn't feel good. But that's your own sort of blindness to how good you are, how skilled you are. And ultimately, what'll happen is they will eventually come to you. Or maybe you'll end up sort of having to ask them, but you'll get to a place. Maybe not right after the first month. It might be a couple or 3 months in where they sort of give you some honest feedback. And they will come to you and compliment you and tell you that you're doing very well. And ultimately, that is what they think and feel. So they are going to be pleased with you, but I think you're going to struggle to feel that way for a while. So just be prepared for that. Don't give up. You know, stick with it. There'll be some ups and downs. You're going to have some doubts, but they will eventually come around and tell you very clearly and definitively, like, yes, we are very happy with you. That's this Ace of Pentacles here. Like, here's the thing. And they may offer you something a little more or extra at that point. Might even be a small raise or a promotion. Hard to say exactly, but something really good will come out of that. So, thank you for that question, Melons. And let's see. We'll do 1 more. We will pull Kate. Kate, we'll do your reading next, and then I will go to break. Thank you for coming in, Neon Bright Lights. AKA Grace. We're going to do Kate's reading, and then we will go to break. Sorry, Candy in the other room was a little confused about break or not break. So, all right, Kate, here we go. How is the summer going to pan out? Will you be in Scotland in July for your first date and some cool events? And your career. Okay. Well, these things are often so intertwined. And so much of like sorting this out is like finding the clarity of the right thing at the right moment. Um, your question reminds me of another client I had who was really struggling with both finding a good relationship and finding work during sort of the same chunk of time. And her readings really allowed her to get focused on sort of the career piece of it, which then gave rise to like her new job is then where she found her new partner. And so it's sort of like timing and that kind of thing. So let's see, Kate, what we can find out for you today. Well, there's a card for you. Cards are just flying out today. It's the warm weather, the powerful energy. Oh, the Tower. Oh, wow. Oh, there's the Eight of Swords. Oh, and the two of Wands here. Okay, so this is very interesting. Yep. Yeah, things do all just sort of, it's like everything all at once. When it rains, it pours. So the Tower here is really interesting. I think, to me, the Tower speaks to, this speaks to you making it to Scotland in that sort of time frame, around July-ish. And so you will be there for the first date. Tower is breaking down to the old order. And so, for you, this is you not living in your country of birth. This is you. And I didn't actually ask you if you've gotten your dual citizenship or not, but if you haven't, that's going to happen. You are going to end up there in July. Might be a bit late in July, but it's going to happen. It's probably a beautiful time to be there. So that's what the Tower is telling me. The Eight of Swords is very interesting here as well. What this tells me is that as this time approaches, the first date thing is going to be very up in the air, and it may not feel like it's going to happen. So it'll be very confident. I'm very confident, and you'll feel very good about the fact that you are going to get to Scotland in this month of July. But with all of that going on, there's going to be some back and forth or some, just complications that make it seem like this date isn't really going to happen when you get there. And what'll probably happen is you will get there with that the first date sort of up in the air, and then that will materialize once you sort of set foot. But yeah, you don't really have to have your visa yet to be there, but you will definitely be there in summer and in the fall. And so it won't be till you set foot in Scotland that the date actually gets finalized, and then that actually comes into view. And that's kind of the blindness of the Eight of Swords here. Is like it's just going to be hard for you to see that materializing, and it won't be like that you have a lot of like tension or anything going on with this person. It'll just be the hubbub of daily life is getting in the way. So I don't want you to think like you're going to have like a fight or have any like weirdness. It's just going to be like the very, just scheduling type stuff and travel and whatnot. So, it'll just be very up in the air. And then Two of Wands definitely speaks to the other opportunities. So new opportunities as far as your career and your businesses, your various businesses, will continue to open up as you arrive there as well. And so, very much. I mean, you have great intuition, Kate. It's all just going to click into place, kind of all out of the blue, like at the last minute. But I'm glad we're able to sort of confirm that for you, because it's an exciting way to live life, I would say. If everything was just super like programmed and prescribed, man, that's, we didn't get into all this kind of stuff to live kind of boring lives. At least I didn't. So that looks really good for your summer, Kate. And thanks for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. We're going to go to break. It's going to take about 10 minutes. There's still room in the queue. So please get your questions in, when we get back from break. And oh, wow. And then he might be going to Cambodia. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I'd rather be in Cambodia in November than Scotland, as far as the weather goes. Just saying. So maybe that's a sign. Anyway, we're going to take 10. We are still open for more readings. We've got some room in the queue, although we've added a few. So make sure you get your questions in, and we'll be back. Okay, everybody, we're back. We're back, and I see we had a bunch of new folks come in on the break, so thank you so much. We will get your questions into the queue, so just give us a minute or two to get the queue all updated, and it'll give people a chance to get back in too from the break, and then we will get to everyone's readings. We have a pretty big list. You'll see it pretty soon here on the screen. And probably after we add these other requests, that's probably going to fill us up for the night. But let's see. Leo Moon, the Heist Artist. Chargers fan. Nope, Chargers fan, please. There we go. Jazzy Bella, Magic Dust. Okay, and Slow Deezy, you will be up next. So hopefully you're back in the chat here or back on with us. Let's see. Mana Azad. Okay. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Mana Azad. And if you would like a reading, just let us know. Just put it in the chat with your question or topic. Or if you don't have a specific question or topic, totally okay. Totally okay. Okay, Slow Deezy. Let's get to you, buddy. Alrighty, and your question is there a potential relationship with TWI or no? Or not? Okay. Alrighty, is there a potential relationship with TWI? Alrighty. Okay. Let's see about your potential relationship. Ooh, 10 of coins. Oh, yep. Thank you. My wonderful wife reminded me. There we go. We actually see our cards. 10 of coins. Oh, and the High Priestess again. So as far as this potential relationship, there is a potential here. I mean, 10 of coins is very much like the abundance of the world around you. So this is the community you live in, people you're connected to. It's all the riches and abundance, not just money or wealth. And so when you're case, like, yeah, I think there's definitely potential here for a relationship. The magician and the high priestess are the interesting part of this, because really what this is about is how badly do you want this relationship? You have the power to make it happen. Like, there is potential, yes. If you act, it will come. It will happen. So it's there, but the high priestess is that inner knowledge, and so it's that looking inward of like, do you really want this? You know, how badly do you want this? And it might be that you have to get into this relationship and experience it with this person to realize whether to truly understand whether it's something you really want or not. So I think it can and will happen. But I have a sense that maybe once you get involved with this person, you're going to have some realizations about yourself and maybe see a little bit more, like get a deeper understanding of who they are. And it might lead you to question whether you wanted this relationship or not. So yeah, it's a very interesting one, but it absolutely can happen. There is potential there for it. So yes, so welcome in, Rachel. Thank you for showing up, and thanks for subscribing. And yes, we can probably if you want a reading, please let us know, because we are pretty much getting full. So you would be the last person I can get in. If you would like a reading, just let us know in the chat, and my wonderful moderator and wife, Candy Hearts Art, will add you. And yeah, and thanks everyone. And if anyone has not already subscribed, like this video, and click the bell icon, please do so. It goes a long way to supporting the channel and getting the word out there. And if you are feeling exceptionally generous, we do accept donations. The link to donate is pinned in that comment by Nightbot. But it certainly is not required in any way. I appreciate all of your support. And the deck I have right now out, Rachel, is a traditional Rider-Waite deck. It's kind of this very shiny version of it. Let's see. If you look at the Me Cam, you can look at it here. Ooh, there we go. It's hard to tell on the camera, but it does kind of have a prismatic sort of look to it. The light doesn't, there you go, that kind of catches it. Very fun deck. Tonight I also have the Crow deck. It's kind of a modern classic. Crow deck's been around for about 12, 13 years. I love it. So all the subjects are crows. And then we also have the Phantasma Tarot deck, which is a newer addition to my collection. A lot of fun. Okay, Rachel. Well, great. Well, thanks for showing up either way. I will close the list down real quick. So let me get that updated for everyone, and then we'll get going. And we'll just switch everything over. So readings are closed, and we'll switch to this graphic so there's no confusion. But don't worry, if you're on the list on the screen, you are in. We will get your reading. Let me update that real quick because there's a few people. There we go. So last reading of the night will be Stellar Resolutions 8708. Up next, we have Panya. I think we'll get out the Phantasma Tarot. I know Panya really likes this one too. So yeah, Rachel, I switch between, like when we do these, I switch between the decks, either by people's requests, or just what I'm feeling if people aren't requesting a specific deck. With tarot, I don't like to pull, like, I won't pull, like, for one reading, I won't use multiple decks at the same time. And that's just how I like to read. There are lots of readers who will have like 3 different decks, and maybe some of them are like Oracle decks and tarot decks, and they'll pull a bunch of cards from all of them, you know, and work that way. And that's great. I don't, you know, there's no judgment. Everyone reads differently. but I tend not to do that. I like to just work with the symbolism of tarot. So, but thanks for that question, Rachel. That's always a good one, and I'm always happy to answer questions about tarot in general. If you ever want to know anything, and I am teaching a class live on Zoom this Sunday, a beginner's tarot class. I'll put the link up. We'll put it in here again real quick. If anyone else is interested, you can get more info. It's $18 US, and it's 2 hours on a Sunday, this Sunday. And you will learn an easy and simple method to read tarot for yourself and others without a bunch of intricate memorization. It's very intuitive. It's a lot of fun. So if you have interest in that, there's that link right there. And you can sign up. Okay. Thank you for your patience, Panya. I'm always sort of doing the bookkeeping in here and watching the chat. So, Panya, your question. Let's get back to it. Oh, no, that was easy. General reading for you. Okay. Okay, Panya. Let's see what Spirit has for you. All righty. So we have strength. Real shiny. Let's see here. These might be a little washed out. It's the only thing I don't like about this deck is when we do it on camera, the imagery gets a little bit washed out. So I'll read them out. So you have the card Strength, which is this wonderful dragon breathing fire everywhere. The Six of Pentacles. That's always a good one. And Knight of Wands. Okay, so this is very interesting. So you're someone who has, well, you have a great deal of strength. And strength is, this is not the strength of might, of like physical might, or like that masculine energy of like hardness. This is the strength of wisdom and compassion and emotional intelligence. Something you possess a lot of. And Spirit is telling you to just to keep with that. I think you're going to run into some things in your life, or they're already starting to creep up, or happening soon, that are going to challenge that a little bit. That are going to feel like you need to sort of pull you away from being the sort of more compassionate person, the more emotionally intelligent person. You're going to be faced with some sort of dilemma where you feel pulled into more of like the might is right kind of thing. Not in a big way. I don't want you to, again, don't like worry. This is not going to be like a physical confrontation or anything like that crazy, but just, something where you feel like you're maybe a bit frustrated and you're getting pulled out of that place of like compassion a little bit. Happens to all of us, and that's okay. When you notice that happening, like step back from that. Don't give in to that that drive, that pull. By doing so, by staying in that place of emotional strength and caring for others and loving your neighbor and that kind of thing, by doing that, this little hiccup will resolve itself in a way that is beneficial to you and the people around you. You're going to need to show a little bit of charity, but not too much. Don't get taken advantage of. But again, that will sort of spill out, and it will benefit those around you, and it will bring more of your own. You will receive with that some abundance and joy, and ultimately out of that, I sense like you will get some energy and some momentum behind something you're trying to do, some project or job or career type thing. You'll get sort of this shot of energy. Things will start to sort of leap forward in a faster and more powerful way. and in a very definitive direction as well. So you're gonna get some really good things going for yourself. Just don't allow yourself to sort of don't allow anyone to get your goat in the next few weeks or month or so. Just stay in that in that maternal strength. Okay. So thank you for your question and being here again this week. And just bear with me. My voice is starting to give out a little bit, but we'll get to the end. Don't worry. And we're moving on to India Welch. India Welch asks, how does John feel about me requesting to be taken on a proper date this weekend? We're on you, India. So you're wondering about how does John feel about you wanting to be taken out on a proper date? Okay. Alrighty, we'll see how John feels about this. Oh yeah, it's tough, Rachel, and Candy and I live in northern Colorado, at about almost 5,000 feet above sea level, so it's very dry here, and that's part of it as well. We just have a very dry climate, so the voice does cut out. Do you do like live streams of you like artsing, as we like to say, like drawing or painting or whatever medium of art, Rachel? I'm curious. Candy and I will definitely check that out sometime. Okay, India Welch. Sorry for my distraction there. Okay, here we go, India. How does John feel about you requesting to be taken out on a proper date, not just drive through in the back of the car, but a proper date, dinner and a movie, dinner and dancing? I'm not sure, but we'll see. 7 of Cups. Ooh. Page of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles. Okay, India. So here's what's going on with John. John definitely wants to take you out on a proper date. John is struggling with some insecurities around this. Has little to do with you or anything you've done or said or how you've acted. It's his own internal insecurities about stuff, which is why he hasn't really taken you out on a proper date recently or maybe ever. I'm going to assume if you're asking him to take you out on a proper date, there hasn't been a lot of that in your relationship so far, even if it's a very new relationship. So the time you spent together, very casual, drive through, a walk in the park, something like that, but not like a real date. So he's got these insecurities. There's an emotional insecurity here. It's not really about you. It's just his own awkwardness about some social situations and that sort of thing. There's also a little bit of just general insecurity around money and finance. So a lot of this is around his insecurity about his own ability to pay for both of you, or whether you should or not, and that sort of thing. Ultimately, though, he wants to do it, and it will happen, and it will be a great experience. So it is going to happen. He is going to do it. But he's got these doubts. And again, it's not about whether like you get along or whether it's a good relationship or you're right for each other. It's just about his ability. Like, will he be able to do the things you want to do? Right? Is he uncomfortable? Maybe, maybe you do want to go out dancing or something. Maybe he's not comfortable with that. Can't say exactly. But you know this person at least a little bit. So what you can do, what might help here, is you might have to just talk it out with him a little bit. And I don't approach it like from a nagging sort of place, but just, like, hey, what, I sense that like you're nervous about going out on a proper date. Like, what's up? Try to get him to open up about it a little bit. It'll help him be more comfortable, and then he'll be more willing to do it. But I think the date will happen. And when it does, it'll be a really good thing. That's 10 of Pentacles. Like, it'll be like the fruition of like, oh, this is wonderful. We should have done this sooner. But he's just got this nervousness and this anxiety around things. And some of it, I think, is just more financial. And some of it is more just sort of social and emotional. So that's what's going on. I hope that gives you some insight to move forward. So thanks for your question, India. And now we're moving on to Leo Moon. Leo Moon wants a general reading. I'm going to switch back to this Rider-Waite deck. I just think it's easier to see, honestly, on the camera. So I realize many of you are watching on like mobile, on a phone. So you're not getting this huge screen. And then the split screen makes it smaller too. Because I believe part of why I read tarot, I think it's helpful to see the cards. Even if you, the person asking the question, doesn't understand what the cards mean directly, there's a psychological connection that happens when you see the imagery there. I think it's powerful. It's why I like to do readings like this, where I have the cards on display for you. A lot of online readers don't. Mostly just because of the technical aspects of that, of needing 2 cameras and that kind of thing. But I think it really enhances the reading when you can see your cards. So, you're welcome, Leo. And you're welcome, India. Thank you for showing up tonight. Okay. So, Leo, here's your general reading. Let's see what we get. The 3 of Coins. Sharing knowledge and instruction with others. 10 of Cups, this beautiful, resplendent joy, and the Death card. Ooh, we haven't seen the Death card in a while. Don't worry and don't panic. No one is going to die anytime soon. And that's not what that's about, so. The Death card! Yeah. But it adds a little of interest to this reading. So here's what here's what I'm getting out of this. You're in a place where I think you need to collaborate a little more with others, maybe get a little bit of instruction or knowledge or collaboration with some folks. And maybe in the past, this sort of collaboration or seeking of knowledge from others or seeking mentorship or something like that has not always worked out. Maybe you ran into some bad apples, some people who like said they teach you something. Maybe you paid for like an online course or something and it just wasn't what you expected. You didn't really get your money's worth, kind of thing. So I think maybe you've got a little bit of apprehension about that. And I say that because of the 10 of Cups. Because I think in this case, this thing that you're trying to learn or pick up on is actually going to lead you to some great joy and success. And it's something beyond just financial or, sort of material success. So that's powerful. This is going to be a little bit of growth for you to see like, hey, I can seek out knowledge from others and not all of it is bad. I can find good, useful knowledge and good, useful teachers in the world. And that's what the Death card is about, is like the ending of like that old self, that person who maybe didn't trust or wasn't as willing to seek out external knowledge, to seek out teaching, mentorship, and collaboration as much. So that's a breakthrough for you. And that's what the Death card really symbolizes here. It's not the death of your joy. It's certainly not your own physical death. It's the ending of somebody of your old self, and the you who maybe was a bit less inclined or trustful of others and seeking knowledge from them. So, yeah, and maybe, let it come to you a bit too. Like, don't be like, I got to find my mentor. I got to find a guru. Because it's when you search from a place of like desperation, that's when you find the bad apples, in those people. So relax a bit. Maybe try to just take some time and really just have some joyful time, some recreation, spend a little time with family, friends, in some celebration, and maybe this will come to you and some new knowledge and inspiration. So kind of a broad reading, but sometimes that's what it needs to be. So thanks for that, Leo. Moving on, we've got let's see, Heist the Artist, or Heist Hardest. Oh my. Well, I'm going to go with Heist the Artist because you're asking about songwriting. So Heist the Artist asks, I'm thinking about moving to Nashville, Tennessee for more songwriting opportunities. Will that be a prosperous move? Well, let's see. Let's see. Will this be prosperous for you? I mean, I believe now, I've never been down to Tennessee. I'm a Yankee boy. I'm originally from Massachusetts, my wife and I both. And we ended up in Colorado because we sold our home in a hurry, bought an RV, put everything we owned in it, and took off for Portland, Oregon with no plan, no job, or anything lined up other than my best friend moved out there. And the RV broke down all over the country. And after about a month on the road and breaking down everywhere, we were basically in Colorado. And I'm so glad because it was exactly where we needed to be, where we were meant to be. And Colorado's been our home since, well, for over 12 years now. And it's been a place of great healing and progress and transformation for us. So it was definitely meant to be, but man, it was a crazy ride to get here. Okay, Heist the Artist. Sorry, enough of our story. Nashville, Tennessee. All right. I believe that Nashville is called Music City, isn't it? Well, it is a place of great musicians, that's for sure. So let's see. Nashville, Tennessee. Justice. Eight of Cups. And Page of Pentacles. All very interesting. Oh, he is the artist, of course. That's like Cool Libra. I botched Cool Libra's name for the first, 3 weeks that we did this. He is the artist. Okay, I'll get it right from now on. Thank you. Yeah, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, Grand Ole Opry and all that. Yeah, Cooley Bra. Yeah, it was cool. And then, yeah, Cooley Bra. Dirt. I'm a great psychic, but I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So, okay, sorry for the digression. But so this is really interesting in terms of like the prosperity of this. The end result does suggest that you will find opportunity and prosperity in Nashville, Tennessee. Page of Pentacles here definitely suggests that kind of new youthful energy. Pentacles is the suit of physical things, of wealth, of abundance. Now that also suggests that you're not going to move to Nashville and then like a week later just, I don't know, sign a massive recording deal and be massively rich. But it will take time to develop, but it's there. The opportunities are there, but they will be sort of these young opportunities, and you will need to work on it and develop it. But it will come. It is prosperous for you. But there's a key thing here when we look at the other cards. So we have Justice, this card of discernment, of sort of being able to really understand like what's going on with yourself or a situation. And then combined with the Eight of Cups, which is a card of like leaving old beliefs and feelings behind. And so what I'm getting from Spirit about this is before you go, and as you're going there and when you get there, but as you're going into this trip or into this move, I think you really need to sit with what are you leaving behind? And I don't just mean like I'm leaving family or friends behind or a job, but like what is the emotional significance of the place that you're leaving? You know, and if this is the place you grew up in, then a lot of that's going to be like childhood things, you know, experiences from childhood, maybe even some childhood traumas, or whatever it is, whatever your life has been in this current place that you're moving from. You really need to take some time with that and really set the intention of like, what do I need to leave behind? Because if you leave behind, if you take some of these limiting beliefs or whatever this stuff is, and they are usually more, it's going to be something kind of deeper and more subconscious. If you bring that with you to this new place, I guarantee you will not find the prosperity that you're hoping to, or that you have the potential there. And so it's not just about planning the move, lining up a job when you get there, a place to live, figuring out what you're going to do with your stuff and all that, the logistics of it. You need to take some time and really get right with like the emotional symbolism, the meaning, the deeper meaning in your life behind this move and what it means. And again, what are you really leaving behind? And really take some time to leave that behind. And as you explore this and think into it, you know, especially if this is like maybe some bad experiences from your past, some negative feelings, they're going to come up. And allow yourself to feel it. If there's some sadness there, allow yourself to feel it. Don't just like squash it down. Don't run away from it. If you have to sit there and cry about it in some way, do it. If there's an anger or resentment towards someone in the place you're currently living, allow yourself to feel that, because that's how you're going to leave this stuff behind. Otherwise, you're going to take it with you. And it's not going to serve you well. You won't get out of this move what you hope to. So take that to heart. Try to work on that a bit. If you need some direction or advice on how to do that, please reach out to me. Send me an email. Get a hold of me. I have lots of resources and ways you can do that through a variety of ways of working together. And, you know, we can explore that. So please don't hesitate to contact me at some point as that comes up. But ultimately, I wish you the best, and I think it's going to be a great move for you. You just need to do that preparation. Okay, thank you for your question. He is the artist. We're getting on to Charger Fan. Has a general reading. Alrighty, we'll keep it moving here. And just to keep things moving along, I'm probably going to give up on updating the list since we're not adding anyone new. Just so we're not eating up time with that. And I want to thank everyone else for hanging out for these readings. It's great to see a bunch of viewers in here, probably after you've gotten your readings, you know. I love that. And it certainly helps out, it helps tell YouTube that this channel is popular and people like it. So that's another great way to sort of support us here. Donations are great, but man, the watch hours, the views, subscriptions, that's the best thing right there. All right, let's get another good shuffle. Charger Fan, we got your general reading. Surprised you haven't asked about the Chargers. We might have to, when we get closer to the start of football season, we might have to pull some cards for the Chargers for you. We'll see. And you're welcome for the reading. He is the artist. And if you haven't subscribed, like I said, please do so. Yeah, Charger Fan. I don't watch a lot of sports anymore, but I was a big sports guy, kind of a degenerate gambler in my youth, and so I have some buddies who are still big sports gamblers, and I'll occasionally pull cards for Super Bowl or something, get them some predictions. Okay, So, but this is a general reading. We got the world. We love the world card. That's always, the world is great to see. We've got the 5 of wands and then the 6 of coins or pentacles here. Again, this is a thing of charity, and it's quite interesting. So you've got the world. Another one of those big reminders that like the universe or the world, spirit has your back. You know, you have the creative force of the universe behind you for anything you do. And I think you're going to feel inspired here going into the next few weeks to really sort of wield that power to really take some big, bold actions and make some big changes in your life, make some things happen for yourself, things that maybe you've been holding back on a bit lately. So that's awesome. That's beautiful. You're going to run into some challenge with that. And a lot of this challenge here is about, you know, this 5 of wands is like, it's not people fighting. It kind of looks like that, but they're not really fighting because swords is the suit of conflict. Wands is the suit of like doing things purposely, job, career, projects, things like that. So this is about a bunch of people trying to like all work on the same thing, and they're kind of getting tied up with each other. You know, it's like they're trying to put up this giant tent, but they keep just like, there's no organization or coordination. So there's a powerful theme there of like involving others. And I think for you, this is about like, maybe you've had some experiences before trying to do some, you know, trying to like, you know, you're trying to put this big idea in the world, make this big thing happen. And as other people have gotten involved with it, which is, you know, usually essential to do that, you've had problems where everyone's trying to be in charge kind of thing. You know, there's this sort of Clusterfuken kind of thing that breaks out. People aren't organized. And maybe that's part of what has stopped you from trying to do these big things, because you've had this experience before. So there's some frustration and past sort of failure there. And maybe that's made you a bit reluctant to seek the help and work and collaboration with others. So 6 of coins here is like here to tell you like that's not always going to be the case. You do need to collaborate with other people. You do need to seek out some help sometimes with these big things. When you're trying to do big things, you're never going to do it all by yourself. Even the most self-made person in the world, they've had help, they've had collaboration, they've worked with others. They may not tell their story that way, but if you really dug into their story, it's there. You know, there's always somebody else involved. There's billions of people on this planet. There's no way you're just doing it all by yourself. So this is a call to you. Like, the world is like, here, the universe wants you to have these resources and these people to help you. Don't be afraid to enlist that help. And then when you do, be a bit assertive in terms of organizing the help that you get. It's your project and you're in charge, because otherwise this thing's going to happen. You're going to have the Clusterfuken again, and it's not going to be the best thing. So again, don't be afraid to collaborate with others, but also don't let them run the show. And that's your message from Spirit for the week. So, thanks, Charger fan, for showing up again this week. Always appreciate that. And now we'll move on to Neon Bright Lights. Grace, will Yuichi move forward towards me romantically? Oh, I love it. Okay, let's see. I don't think those are your cards. Okay, will Yuichi move forward? Let's see. Ooh, 5 of Cups. There's that 10 of Pentacles again. We've seen a lot of that. And Queen of Wands. So it's very interesting. We have this 5 of Cups. So I'm trying to look at this from like his perspective. And the 5 of Cups is this card of like discontentment, unhappiness. That's not to say that this person is unhappy with you, but I think they're carrying around some bitterness and some hurt feelings from a past relationship. And they haven't fully let go of that. And so they're not in a place where they are truly ready to move forward into a relationship. There's a struggle there. So the short answer is no. I don't think they're going to move forward. And so telling me that he's a workaholic very much speaks to that idea. People who sort of bury themselves in work are often avoiding some kind of emotional pain. And then the 10 of Coins goes with that too a bit, like this abundance of like the world around you. So that's something that they have to heal from before they're really going to be ready to move forward and feel like they want to get involved with any relationships, not just you. And I would say for you and your love life going forward, that's probably the right thing for you right now, is to not be involved with this person. Because if they're carrying this pain around, they're not going to be a good partner to you. They have to heal from that first in order to really be accessible to you. And so while you may be attracted to this person, I sense that you want them to move forward. I think if they did and you got involved, it wouldn't take long before you realize, like, this is not what I was hoping it would be. I sense that, though, there is, romance coming down the line for you, that there is someone good for you coming. And it's someone that you probably are already somewhat acquainted with, someone who's already sort of a part of your community that you're in. So not someone who's just going to appear new into your life, but someone that you might sort of reunite with or just have an experience, and maybe you overlooked or just not had feelings for them in the past. But something's going to happen to connect you. And you can't force that to happen, but I think that's what you need to hold out for. I wouldn't try to force these things with Yuichi. If he's really trapped in this workaholic type thing, it's just not in a place for a good relationship. And that's what Queen of Wands is about. Is like, this is about you, holding out for what you truly deserve. You deserve to have someone who is, healed and whole enough to be a good partner, to be emotionally available to you. And the Queen would never settle for less. So that is your advice around this and more generally about your love life moving forward into the near future. So I hope that makes some sense. I hope that gives you some inspiration as to what to do next. All right, next. Next up, we have Jazzy Bella. Jazzy Bella, there we go. And Jazzy Bella asks, when will S break no contact? All right, Jazzy Bella, when will S break no contact? Okay, will S break no contact? The Hanged Man. Hmm. Hmm. So this person will certainly contact you again. Um, as when exactly? Always interesting. Timing is always tricky with tarot, but you can sort of derive timing from it. The momentum's there. I don't sense that it'll be like many months, but it might be about a month. I think it's going to get to a place where like it feels like it's not going to happen, and then it will. They're dealing with some discomfort and sort of spiritual growth of their own, and they're starting to come out the other side of that, and that's what's going to prompt them to reach out to you. But it's going to be a few weeks, so I'm going to go with 3 to 4 weeks, maybe a month at most. But they definitely will reach out to you again. They will be in contact again. And when they do so, you're going to sense that they're a different person. Someone who has grown and changed in a significant way and in a good way. And so I would like to think, I would hope that that bodes well for whatever your relationship with this person is, whether they're family, friends, or lover, or whatever. As they come out of this no contact, I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be a really positive thing for the both of you. But I sense that you're really going to be like hanging on it and waiting for it. So it's going to feel like a long time. Best thing you can do is try to take your mind off of it, distract yourself, do other things with yourself, take up a hobby, whatever. And don't allow yourself to get too obsessed. Like, when are they going to reach out kind of thing? Because it happens. It's very easy to slip into. But I would give it, yeah, I'm sensing like 3 to 4 weeks. So I hope I'm right. Certainly, please feel free to let me know either way as time goes on. And thanks again for your question, Jazzy. All right, last two for the night. So we're down to Magic Dust and Stellar Resolutions. Okay, Magic Dust asks, will I rent a house, a townhouse, or extended stay? I am moving to Texas soon. Okay. Well, there's a couple cards. Let's pull one more. We got all the cards. Okay. There's a lot of cards here. We're going to go with it. It's probably kind of excessive, but let's see. What do we got? All the cards. Okay. Rent a house, a townhouse, or an extended stay. Well, one thing I can tell you about this move, your housing situation is going to be, it's going to be very sort of amorphous, kind of right up until you're ready to leave. So be prepared. That might be a little frustrating, you know. I assume you're trying to secure some housing before you leave and move there, but it might be like kind of like Candy and I, where you're just going to go. So that might look like you getting to Texas and being like, man, can I find anywhere to live? But there will be some opportunities that will come to you. Some things will open up here. And you'll probably end up with a few different choices of where to live. You know, we have the Knight of Wands here, and then the two Kings. And then like this Three of Swords. I sense that you're going to live in like, there's going to be one or two places you end up living in. You know, even if you plan ahead and you've kind of got things worked out, I just sense that like the first place you end up living, even if you planned it in advance, it's just not going to be the right thing for you long term. There's going to be something about it that's just not great. And so your housing situation when you get there is probably going to change a couple of times in a relatively short period of time. There's going to be some chaos there. Now, I don't sense that you're going to end up on the street or anything like that. It's not going to be that catastrophic. Texas is a big state. Panya's right about that. But you know, you're going to end up in a few different living situations. The end all be all though is after all that chaos, you're going to end up in a pretty stable spot. And this King of Pentacles really speaks to me. Not that you're going to end up living in a castle, but something pretty big, you know, maybe bigger than anything you've lived in. So something really, you're going to end up in a good spot after you get through this chaos. And so that to me speaks of like a house, you know, even if you're just renting it. And like, yeah, like bigger property, something with some room, with some land around it. Something, you know, kind of castle-like in that sense. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's going to be some ups and downs. I don't think it's going to be horrible. I don't want to discourage you, because I think you're meant to go, and you know, you're meant to live through this, you know, this bit of chaos. But you'll end up again in a really good spot. I think you'll end up in a nice house that you're renting, and for a good price. And if you have roommates, there'll be people you actually get along with. I think that's part of what this is going to be. This chaotic piece. There's going to be some roommates, and you might not jive with them. And ultimately, you're going to come out of it not heartbroken. Sometimes, you know, this card can be like heartbreak, but this is really more about like you're going to come out of this with a greater sense of like your ability to make decisions for yourself and be logical about things. And keeping that in balance with your, you know, your feelings, and knowing when to sort of follow your feelings more and when to follow sort of logic. So, yeah, I think you're going to end up in a good spot, but there's going to be some chaos leading up to it. So just, you know, be prepared for all that. And you'll turn out, things will turn out pretty well. So I wish you best of luck. Certainly keep us up to date with that. So thank you for your question, Magic Dust. And I look forward to seeing you here again in subsequent weeks. I do this, I'm really losing my voice. I do this every Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Mountain, which is Denver Standard Time. Okay, and for our last reading for the night, And again, thank to all 10 of you for sticking it out till the end. Stellar resolutions. Wondering about the success of your business. And I saw in an earlier comment you were talking about you do some kind of work to facilitate collaboration amongst peers, kind of thing. I hope I'm paraphrasing that well. I love it. I love it. A lot of my work is like one-on-one coaching, but I might move more into sort of group and team building type stuff as time goes on. We'll see. Okay, let's see what is going on with your business. And these cards are slippery. Okay. Okay, let's see about your business, stellar resolutions. We have the moon. 6 of coins and 5 of wands. Okay, so this is very interesting. But the message is pretty clear for this one. So you're going to face some challenges in your business. That's just part of business. And you're not that new to business, so you're going to run into some challenges here. And a lot of what this challenge is about is going to be about understanding your own attitudes about sort of like, I don't want to say charity outright, but like how much you're giving of yourself and your ability to delegate to others to some extent. So there's definitely this call for some inner, some introspection. I get the sense that you're somebody who feels like you need to, that you often like over deliver, you know? So you promise someone something, especially in business. And it's very tough. You know, a lot of people struggle with this in business. You want to offer a package, you have an offering, whatever it is, your offer. And you just feel like you need to over deliver. Like you just need to give people everything under the sun. Otherwise, you're not giving them their value. And that's something I think you need to check in with a bit, because I think maybe you get a bit burned out. You know, you're kind of over giving. So either you need to essentially charge more because we're talking about business, or pull back a bit on what you're giving people, you know? And in order to really understand that, you need to get into like the deeper things, like what is it about you, your own experience, your own feelings in life that cause you to do that? You know, is it some sense of your own worthiness? Is it some experience from your younger life, from your childhood? People told you you weren't good enough or something like that. You know, just those are just some hypothetical examples. That's what you need to be exploring. That's what the moon's about. Again, it's that inner knowledge. And as you do so, you'll figure out, you know, okay, why am I sort of overgiving and overachieving in a way? And a lot of your solution to that will then be looking to coordinate others and getting and delegating more. And maybe again, kind of like with one of the earlier readings here, maybe you have some apprehension about that because in the past, maybe you've delegated tasks and it hasn't worked out, which is interesting given the nature of your work. So that's what you need to check in with here. And as you do so, that's going to help you move forward and improve and scale your business. Because that's the thing that I think you're getting hung up on a bit, is just trying to do too much so that you feel like you're giving people what they paid for, basically. So yeah, explore that within yourself, and that will help you move forward and delegate effectively so that you're able to do more and expand. So I wish you best of luck with that. I hope that makes sense. And that concludes all of our readings for the evening. So I want to thank all of you for showing up this week. It was great to have you all here, all the new faces and all the old ones. If you're still here, if you missed, if you didn't get in time to get a reading, we will be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you get notified when we go live. And if you can get in here a little bit earlier, we'll get you on the list. And maybe I'll be able to actually extend a little more and try to get a few more people in. But thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I